Hey, good morning.
How we doing?
Good. All right. Looks like sound's coming in. What's going on your front? Any trades? I know you didn't take much yesterday. Any action last night? I didn't really look at anything last
No,
night.
no,
No.
no. I know we ended up having the '05 reclaim, but
Hmm.
that was just not something that I was too interested in taking. So just
No.
kind of let that be.
Well, might get another attempt at that here this morning. So
Fingers
let's.
crossed.
Yeah. The juicy 705.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting here because we kind of have our favorite concept here of the stacked failed breakdown lows
Hmm.
when you have a bunch of structure all close to each other. Do you wait for the lower one? Do you wait for the higher one to clear? Kind of what our thoughts have been. I know we've talked about this a little bit on the side personally. So yeah, what do you how do you look at this little cluster of lows we have up here?
Yeah, so let me bring in the chart so we can kind of take a look. So we've got Adams levels from the newsletter, which were released 7002, 7005, and the game plan there was for wait for a defense of 702, 7002, and recover '05. Kind of triggered that off the open last night. For me, I've added 7007 and the 98 as well. Those being the 7007 being the cluster of two lows from the evening and overnight session, and then the 98 being kind of the little end of day shelf. So this and these guys here. And so the way I'm thinking about this now is really I would prefer probably to play the 7007 if we can hold this kind of zone of 7002, 7005, maybe dipping down to the century figure to hold that and then recover '07 would be one idea. And then the other idea would be if we flush a bit more dramatically. I'm still not that dramatic, but if we can flush under 98, hold around 90, and then recover 98 with that one, I'd be looking for really to get in pretty close to the 98 level. So hopefully get one form of either type 1 or type 2 acceptance around the 98 level and be able to get in pretty tight. If that doesn't occur and we don't, let's say we flush 98, we rip back up through, there's sort of no significant acceptance there, then it would be add the non-acceptance protocol to that. I'd probably then just be looking to get back in above 7007, because by the time you add your 5 points to 98, you're 7003, you're just kind of in the middle of this whole thing. So for the 98, I want to be in tight to it. For the 7007, I want to see at least the century figure hold and push up above. So that's kind of how I'm seeing those. The 86 below, honestly, I would prefer just engaging in that level over all of these. So if we can get a bit more of a dramatic flush, maybe hold the 78, which is where the bear case is going to start today, down at 69.78. So let me just change the color on that one. Yeah, so if we can push through here and then recover the 86 would be my preferred of any of these three, but that's kind of how I'm looking at. How about you?
Yeah, so I think if we get the 87, I think that one you can just play individually, not have to worry about anything higher. Because honestly, you should be able to have enough points there for a trim into it. And now the 87 is quite a significant level on its own. Um, the O 06 O 07 area, yeah, I would just kind of play it. If we're able to hold 7,000 7,002 and reclaim it, I would look to play that. We do have a little bit of a lows here at 69.98. Um, you know, might be a little tough because we have a bunch of structure above us. So for that one, I may wait for O 06 to clear and just kind of have a little bit of a safety net there. unless I can get in a fill really tight to 98. But a lot of that also depends on the type of acceptance we have. Obviously, if we end up having the non-acceptance protocol, then it's kind of tough to get in tight to the level, right? So you kind of at that point have to almost wait for O6, versus if we kind of have potentially some really nice acceptance where you're able to then get back to the level for a potential fill, then you can potentially look at taking that one individually as well.
Hmm. Yeah, so similar thoughts on that, I think. So yeah, then beneath there, I think we get heading down to the breakout backtest level. Let's see, just zooming out a little bit. Yeah, so 69.49, the 69.50 level there. Um, same kind of story there. If we hold that and then recover the next major up, that's a potential entry. For me, I'd really be looking for a sweep and recovery of that 49 level if we do get a deeper retrace here. But let's see. We've got a nice bull flag that's formed overnight, so definitely be looking to engage in some of these higher levels in case we want to push up and maybe head up to the all-time highs again.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing with ES, right? Once it's in, um, once it starts kind of rallying up, I mean, it can never shock you how much higher it wants to go. I think a lot of us sometimes see a big rally in ES, and then you're kind of like, well, how much juice does it still have left? And it can have a lot. I mean, I know yesterday we talked about at the 35 level on the live stream yesterday being like, hey, we're up 70 points off the lows. We didn't really feel great about at that time putting in reclaim long, and then a couple hours later we're another 70, 80 points off of that as well. So ES can really run when it wants to run. So there's no indication that now that we've gone up this much, you need a sell. It doesn't need to necessarily happen. So just be prepared for price to go either way.
Mm. Yeah, there was definitely some interesting action yesterday. I didn't get a chance to do the trade recap, but I might try and do it today and put it out because I think we had a couple of things on Sunday night where we put in like that micro fail breakdown of the 69.20 level. Adam didn't trade that, but some did. There, you had to use the non-acceptance protocol, and it moved pretty quick, so you're probably in around the 30-ish. And then there was type 2 acceptance of 69.40, which was the way I traded it, and then it pushed on up before failing overnight. So kind of a couple of different options there, and then in the early morning, we've had that scenario again, which seems to be coming up a lot recently, where we've put in a fairly substantial and significant failed breakdown, but by the time you get up, or most of us are getting up, you're maybe 10 points above the level. And so for me, I was like, yeah, and I didn't feel great about the 30 level. I didn't take a trade yesterday, but Adam's approach was, we were kind of close enough to the level that he felt like he could get another level to level move out of it, being such a significant failed breakdown in and of itself. So, just jumped on in, and obviously that was the play yesterday. For me, I was just shut out all day. So I think it's kind of three different nuances there that can maybe be covered. So I'll try and get to that later and post it. But yeah, interesting. Okay, anything you want to close out with?
No, I mean, I think, those are the couple of potential ideas here we can look out for. And if we kind of flush all this down, then that just be mindful that that does trigger the bear case. So if we start going elevator down, be a little careful. We do have a potentially back test long, below us. So that could be something to look out for if you like engaging in those back test longs. Otherwise, we potentially would have to start looking for the 6930 failed breakdown, which is a lot lower, which is not a bad spot and is something I'd look at.
Yeah, we'll see. With this type of bull flag that's formed overnight, I think it would be statistically unusual for us to to get that kind of day, but you never know. There's no nevers in markets, so let's see what happens. Try to gauge the volatility and react accordingly. Okay, thanks everyone. We will catch you in the Discord. Let us know if there's any questions, and we'll see you later. Bye for now.